Hello and welcome to revision classes on television. Today, we will be having a session in English language. Our guide is Andrew Osunde, and our focus today is summary exercise from 2015 SSC.
The first question that will readily come to mind today is, what is summary? It entails a concise and precise writing. Before now, talking about summary in WASE, you'll be given a passage, a very long passage, and you'll be expected to summarize in paragraph. But in the present dispensation, summary in WASE has been made easier because you are expected to summarize in sentences and not phrases. But then, you have to look at some hints that will help you to arrive at what is expected of you to write as far as that summary exercise is concerned. Having been guided with these hints, let's go through 2015 summary passage. Every normal human being wants to put his or her feet up once in a while and relax. But obviously, one cannot relax all the time. A little walk does not kill. Rather, it keeps one active and mentally alert. Some people think that the invention of robots is the best thing that ever happened to man. They are convinced that the invention has saved the day because robots are ideal workers who work without complaining or getting tired. Robots never reveal companies' secrets for any reason: corruption, fame, or blackmail. The admirers of robots think that once a robot is programmed, it can do any piece of work with precision over a long period without slowing down, getting bored, or even going to break or vacation. Robots can be made to perform any task. They do not grumble, protest, or ask for inducement allowance, overtime, bonus, or any motivation that humans usually demand. They also work under conditions which human beings would not accept due to their incapability or attitude. One good thing about the robot is that any of its damaged parts can be replaced for work to go on effectively. On the other hand, if a human being loses a vital part of the body, that part may not be replaced for work to go on as efficiently as before. There is no doubt at all that the robot is useful, but I strongly believe that the human being is more efficient than the robot in many ways. Human beings are sensitive, thinking beings who are flexible and can therefore control their actions. Thus, they can perform more function than robots. Since human beings can think, discriminate, and make value judgment, they can solve problems on the spur of the moment, capable of doing. If a robot is wrong programmed, it will continue to produce the wrong results until its programmed is corrected. The human being can take the initiative in many things. He can communicate or even call for assistance when need be, which the robot cannot do. The human being can be appealed to make some crucial changes. He can also learn from observing what goes on and modify what he is doing. It is clear that even though robots are useful, they are deficient in many ways and therefore cannot have an advantage over human beings. In crisis, the robots cannot face the challenge. It neither reacts nor reflects. The robot is designed and programmed by human beings. How then can the created be superior to the creator? Robots are created to assist human beings and relieve them of their burdens, not to take over completely from them. This is the passage for 2015. And if you have a passage like this, you've read through, what is the question requiring of you? We have two levels of questions here. One, in 3 sentences, one for each, state why the admirers of robots think that robots are more efficient than human beings. And the second level is B. In 3 sentences, one for each, state 3 advantages which the human being has over the robot. The 2 levels of the question, like we said, is requiring you to write in sentence. And like we said earlier on, summary does not allow you to write in phrases. But I will tell you where the phrase might be necessary. That is when we go into the approaches. We have 2 approaches or methods in tackling this question. The first one is what is referred to as preamble method. The preamble method requires you to get a preamble and you list your other 3 points underneath. And you must be very careful because that is the problem with the preamble method. That the other half, supposedly the phrase on the other side that you are given, must align with the preamble you have given above, so that when they are put together, they will form a complete, simple, straight to the point sentence. Now, another issue with the use of the preamble method is the fact that a mistake that is made on the preamble affects every other part that is attached to it. And if the examiner is asked to subtract half a mark or 2 marks for the blemish that has been committed in the preamble, it goes a long way to affect the other parts of that sentence. The other method is what scholars refer to as holistic method. But for this particular revision class, we'll refer to it as independent sentence method. And this entails you to write your sentences in full, independent of one another. And in that instance, any mistake that is made on one does not affect the other. The question before us requires the candidates to state in 3 sentences why robots are more efficient than humans. And the second level is requiring the students to state the advantages the humans has over the robots. Using the independent sentence method, you have possible answers as this. 1. A1, robots work under any circumstance. 2. Robots work without making demands. And 3, robots work tirelessly. This is what we refer to as holistic method or independent sentence method. It is independent because sentence number 1 is independent of sentence number 2, and sentence number 2 is independent of sentence number 3. And so what we are saying, as we'll see later on, when we use the preamble method to answer this same question, any blemish that is found with sentence 1 will not affect sentence 2. And the one that affects sentence 2 will not affect sentence 1 or 3. The B part of that question is saying that we should state 3 advantages that humans has over the robots. And still using the independent sentence method, we'll have it this way. The humans can take initiative. Or better still is or face challenges. B, 1, 2. The human being is capable of controlling his actions. Sentence number 3. Human beings can make spontaneous decisions. This is still the independent sentence method. Preamble method. You have to create a preamble that will take the other part of the sentences. And you have something like this. A. Admirers of robots think the robots are more efficient than the human beings because robots, one, work under any condition. 2, robots work without making demands. 3, robots work tirelessly. This is what is expected of you in preamble method. And we're saying that it is technical because a mistake that is made on the preamble will affect the three of them. But if you have used the independent sentence method, a mistake that is made on one sentence has no relationship with the others. Now, before this dispensation, let's say in 2018, you are allowed to use preamble method and you introduce a plural verb. But now, that is not required. If you do that, it will be counted as blemish against you. This is what we're saying. Like we have the preamble on the board. Admirers of robots think that robots are more efficient than the human beings because robots are, if you use are, and when you now take the other half of the sentence to add to the preamble, it is not making a complete sentence. And so in that regard, that method is not allowed. But now, for this, the preamble, if it is taken with this other half, for instance, we have admirers of robots think that robots are more efficient than the human beings because robots work under any condition. Straight sentence. And if you take number 2 and align it with the preamble, is still aligned without any blemish. And you do the same for the last number 3 part of the preamble is still aligned. That is why we are telling you at this point that you are expected to write in full sentence. So if you are using preamble method, you have to be very, very careful to structure out your answers so that they will align well. There is something you have to note here. We have used, if for instance you have opted for the preamble method, you must recall all the main words that the question has raised. You must recall them back It is very, very necessary. Don't say because that you have been asked not to lift directly from the passage, then you want to come with your own words. When you are doing that, you will be deviating, and at the end of the day, you will be penalized.
That's the much we can take today on the program. Join us next time for another educating session.